Hi guys. So today I have a scenario for you. Okay? Just imagine you have started on your weight loss program with a lot of motivation. You really want to lose weight this time. And it's been 5 days and you are doing absolutely a smashing job. And then what happens on Saturday evening, your husband comes home or probably your wife comes home and along with her she has got fresh samosas from one of the best mithai walas in your vicinity. They are really tasty samosas. They know that it's your favorite and that is why they have got especially for you. You have done 5 days of fantastic diet planning. You have done 5 days of absolute control over your food. And this is what happens on the 6th day. What will you do? Is this not something that has already happened with you? Is this not something that will happen with you someday? Of course, yes. And this is exactly where most of the diets go wrong, is that we don't prepare for these situations. Have you ever had your mother tell you when you were young that whenever you go out to get any groceries or probably get anything from the shops outside, if somebody calls you and tells you, I have a chocolate for you, don't go there. If somebody unnecessarily starts talking to you, don't respond to their talk. So these are warnings that our parents used to give us to make sure that we are prepared for situations that have not yet come in our life but potentially may come. This is exactly how you prepare for situations which have not yet occurred. And this is exactly what they also do in MBA schools, and this is called as scenario planning. Not all situations are going to occur before you can plan for them. And that is why using your own imagination and using a little bit of advanced thinking is sometimes tremendously helpful. Now in these situations where you really don't want to give in to temptation, but the temptation is so strong that you really have no control over yourself, there has to be some strategy to basically wriggle out of this situation. So we are all creatures of habits. And if you have already thought about a situation like this and what is going to be your exit plan from this situation, then you are not going to have a very difficult time. So there has to be step number 1, step number 2, step number 3 that you have somewhat thought about in your mind when a situation like this comes. Now you can replace these samosas with a nice piece of pastry. You can replace the nice piece of pastry with an invitation to have a delicious meal at somebody else's home. The situation just keeps on changing as the days go by. But the essential point is that there are distractions which come and take you away from the plan, from the routine that you have decided for yourself. Now in this situation, there has to be a standard response that you have practiced, that you have rehearsed, and then in giving that response, you don't have to think a lot. First of all, make it very clear to yourself, are you really interested to lose weight? Because most of the times, when people invite you for such temptations, we actually want to give in to that temptation and then we keep blaming the other person for bringing the temptation in your life. See friends, if you were living in a laboratory, all of us would have lost weight fantastically. If all of us were living in controlled conditions, nobody would have had any problem with weight loss. But since we live in a real world with real people around us and with real temptations coming our way, there has to be a strategy that we need to think of before these temptations hit us. So if somebody invites you, first of all, you have to be very truthful and clear to yourself. Are you really interested in losing weight? If you are interested in losing weight, then avoiding that temptation or resisting that temptation should not be such a difficult part for you. The difficulty or the problem arises when you yourself want to give in to that temptation, and that is where the cookie starts to crumble. So first of all, be very clear. If you have decided that this is something that is important to you, losing weight is a priority in your life. By losing weight, you are going to get tremendous advantages, and such type of disturbances are not going to get you to your goal, then your response is going to be much more stronger and much more appropriate. So whenever somebody comes up to you with such a request, make sure you take a pause. Before eating anything, make it a habit to just think for a moment about what is it that you are going to eat. Now that is why we have given all of you all meal plans. And in that meal plan, we have very categorically specified and at what point in the day you should be eating what sort of food. So try to quickly compare the food that is in front of you with the meal plan. If it fits in the meal plan, then again go to the next level, that is what sort of portion sizes have we asked you to eat. So the food that you are going to eat and the amount of food that you are going to eat is going to decide whether your diet is going to stay in place or it's going to get disturbed. So if the portion size is correct and the kind of food that you want to eat is also the food that you are supposed to eat, then you don't need to worry. But most of the times temptation don't come in this size and form. And that is why you will have to be very, very alert when foods like these come to your place. Now also, it's a little silly to expect good weight loss if you keep disturbing your diet. And that is why clarity in your own mind is of paramount importance. Because if you keep disturbing your diet and if you keep telling yourself that tomorrow is the day when I'll be good, tomorrow is the day from which I'm going to start, then tomorrow also never comes. So be very sure that today is the day you have to create the maximum difference for your health. And if you make today's day count, then you are going to be much stronger for the day tomorrow. So the only way to resist temptation is to first of all create a small time gap in between the stimulus and the response that you are going to give to it. So if you respond with a little bit of thought, most of the times you will observe that you don't give in to that temptation in the manner in which you used to give in earlier. So what you can do is that sometimes it's very difficult to say no. So what you can say is that you can oblige the person, but make sure you don't eat the full samosa. Make sure you don't eat the full pastry. Make sure you go out to eat pani puri, but don't eat all the 6 or the 8 pani puris that are served on your plate. Make sure you use your discretion at that time. This is a way you can get self-control. Now, how is it that you can improve your willpower or you can improve your self-control? The only way you can do it is by practicing it over and over again. First of all, make sure that you have clarified to everybody in your family that this is a plan that you are about to follow, and in this plan, these kind of things are really not allowed. So most of these temptations will not come your way if you have clarified it with everybody around you. So first of all, clarity in your own mind, and second of all, clarity with everybody around you is extremely important. When these two scenarios are taken care of, I would say from my experience, about 90% of these disturbances won't come your way. And with 10% disturbances, if you have already thought about the responses that you are going to give, then things will be much, much easier. Friends, the idea is to lose weight in reasonable time and lose weight with least resistance possible. So keep these things in mind, and I'm sure you will be on your way towards achieving the best version of yourself. Thank you so much, and see you again.